Grand rising, and greetings. This is your brother Chief Flying Eagle Ra Elohim. I'm about to play a video for you, but before I play the video, let me just make my intentions very clear. This is not about promoting hate. All right, this is not promoting any type of bad vibes or bad energy towards anyone. All right, this is addressing a video and just putting things in its proper context because just generalizing you know people on a whole is very, very dangerous, and it could be very confusing, especially when people just seem and sound so convincing. All right, so listen to the video. While he's talking, I'm gonna stop and do my own narration, so to speak, and take it from there. All right, so let us go. Once again, like I said, this is not about hating or anything like that. Okay, I'm just responding, but I'm responding respectfully. All right, so let's pay attention and let's go. All right, here we go.
I respectfully ask you to please watch this video and watch it all the way to the end. But if you are not Black, I respectfully ask you to scroll because this is a family meeting.
Okay, so this gentleman, he's doing a video. I assume it's a call to action, and his name is what's that? Altitude Within, and he called it a family meeting, basically saying if you're not Black, politely, respectfully, he's asking people who are not Black to scroll. Well, I'm not Black, but I did not scroll because I have to respond to it. You did. So let us listen.
This video is coming from a very sad place, but it's coming from a place of love. As a reminder, we didn't lose land when they colonized us. We lost each other. Now we carry flags instead of family, borders instead of brotherhood, tribe instead of truth. And
okay, I totally agree with that. When talking from a tribal perspective and the land perspective, right? Because we didn't lose our land. The land is still there. Our people, they just lost their mind through education, propaganda, misinformation. Okay, so I agree with that to a certain extent.
And while we scream Africa unite, we stab each other with dialects, clans, and skin tone.
Okay, so if you're talking from an African perspective and screaming African unite, but yet there's still division and separation, I get that. We are facing the same thing in the Americas. I'm screaming Americans unite, and when I say American, there's only one American. That's the original American, the American Indian. Okay, America is a continent, the same way Africa is a continent. So yeah, I'm vibing with you, man. You're calling for Africa to unite. I'm calling for America to unite. You dig? Nothing wrong with that. We're looking out for our own. That's all we are doing. So far we're on the same page, except for I'm not Black and our people are not Black. But everything else, he's on point.
We didn't need the slave ships to separate us. We are doing it fine.
Now, he said we did not need the slave ships to separate us. Well, that is coming from an African perspective. That is your story. In the Americas, that's not our story. We did not come into the Americas on slave ships. You feel me? But he's making a general statement. And as you could see, that video has like literally over 9,000 shares, right? The amount of views. So it's gone viral. You did. And that could be very dangerous. Pay attention.
Even better than the slave masters. And to my brothers and sisters, the Black Americans, some of you say I ain't African. You say it with your full chest. And that's because your history was wiped clean and replaced with shame.
No, you see, and that's why I have to address that. Because one, you're calling us Black Americans. We're not Black. We know that anybody who's Black, they are from Africa. He's absolutely correct. And that's what our people don't realize. That's why it's so dangerous to be calling yourself Black American, Black Indian, Black Native American. You feel me? Because we then code within the legal system in the United States. Once you identify as Black, you are automatically African. And not just African, you are placed within a racial designation in Africa that's not tied to an original landmass or an original people. You did. So, bro, whatever your name is, like I said, respectfully, we are not Africans and we did not come into the Americas on slave ships. You feel me?
But let me ask you something. If you're not African, what are you? You're not white, you're not brown, you're not Asian, you're not native.
Okay, so he said we are not white. Once again, it goes to show the ignorance and the lack of knowing, right? White is a status. If you look at the screen next to that black background in the video he's in, that's Black. Look at his complexion. But yet still he's calling himself Black. To the extreme left, you see a white screen. Nobody looks like that. You feel me? He said you're not brown. Well, bro, you're brown. How can you say you're not brown? Or we are not brown? And he said we are not native. We know we are not native because there's a difference between American Indian and a native. So you see how, influencers play a part in the destabilization of our people mentally. You feel me? Politically. It's a problem because he sounds convincing. His video has gone viral to a certain extent. It's getting a lot of attention, and a lot of people are literally agreeing with him because our people are miseducated, misled due to propaganda. And I'm not saying everybody. Of course, there are a few of us who stand on who we are and we teach about who we are. But I'm just pointing out the ignorance in other people, whether they are actually from the Americas or they are not. Because everything he's saying politically, it's incorrect. You feel me? Because for one, he's saying we are Black. We are not Black. That's incorrect. He said we are not brown. That is incorrect because our complexions are brown. He said we are not white. But yes, some of us are white in status because it's just a status. Pay attention.
Where do you belong?
We belong right here in the Americas. This is our land. We are American Indians, not natives.
Kente on your graduation day, but you denied the blood that made you. You vibe to Afrobeats, but would never claim your African roots.
Yo, bro, Afrobeats did not originate in Africa. The sole ingredients of Afrobeats is music from the Americas: reggae, calypso, soca, R&B, hip hop, jazz, rock and roll, soul music. All of that was taken to create Afrobeats. Afrobeats don't belong to Africa. You feel me? Yes, Africa invented it. And once again, when you go look at the etymology of invent, it don't means to originate. It means to reveal, to expose. So the Africans, once again, took the ingredients of our music and created another genre called Afrobeats. So we could jam to it because it came from us. The ingredients came from us. And please, this is not to create division. This is just to address the misinformation and propaganda that's being taught by Africans and even people here in the Americas, particularly in the United States. Pay attention.
You scream Wakanda forever, but turn your back on Ghana, Nigeria, Cote d'Ivoire.
Bro, Wakanda is not in Africa, bro. It never was. The Jaguar is American. That was a movie depiction of literally two continents going against each other. We are different people. But I don't even have to dive into that.
Burkina Faso, Namibia, Kenya, South Africa, and the rest of the African continent. They told you Africa is poor, dirty, and uncivilized, so you wear Gucci, forgetting that the gold was stolen from your ancestors.
Well, bro, guess what? America had gold, and our gold was stolen as well. And those are your ancestors. and those that claim to be Africans in the Americas, those are their ancestors. You cannot generalize and put everybody who look like me and you in skin tone or complexion and say we're Africans, bro. Those are not our ancestors. Our ancestors are American ancestors. Pay attention.
You straighten your hair, but your DNA cuts back to the motherland.
Our women straighten their hair like they're the only ones who do that. Africans do that. They bleach their skin. You know, so the point is, this is not an attack. And you say, motherland. Africa is not our motherland. You know what I mean? So I'm going to play a couple more seconds of this and I'm going to stop.
And you who still agree that you're black, you've been to 5 countries, but
exactly, that's the problem. They are agreeing they are black, and he's absolutely correct, because within the US, if you identify as black, the US automatically have you in their codes and their legal system that you are a descendant of a slave and that you are African. It doesn't matter how long you've been in the Americas, as long as you call yourself black, you belong to Africa. So I totally get that. So I'm going to stop right here. All right. I will also copy the link of the video and give it to you, but I'm going to continue with my commentary. This video was not an attack like how people make attacks on Africans. No. As you could see, I was breaking it down point by point just to rebuttal what he's saying. Okay. Now I'll close on this. Whatever your name is, Mr. I didn't get your name, but I saw the name of your channel, but I doubt that's your name. So whatever your name is, I'm saying this respectfully. Okay. Africa has its own fight. Africa has its own indigenous people. America has its own fight. And when I say America, I'm talking about the Americas, because you don't realize America is a continent the same way Africa is a continent. Okay. We have our own fight. And as the original indigenous people of this land, we have to deal with our situation first. Okay. I'm not against, working with Africans. I'm not against working with our original brothers and sisters in Europe and Asia. I'm not against that. But we have to deal with our situation first. This is our motherland. And you have to respect that. You feel me? Yes, you may have some people who think they're black and they're African. That's fine. But respect those of us that know our ancestors are not Africans. Respect those of us who know that America is our motherland. Because there's never going to be any type of unity amongst so-called people of color around the world if we don't respect each other's boundaries. America is our boundary. You feel me? And that was designated to us from an ancestral time immemorial perspective. So all I'm just saying to you, man, I'm going to tag you in this video. You want unification, stop calling us Africans. Respect us as who we are. We are American Indians. Respect us as that. You focus on what you got to focus on. We focus on what we got to focus on. And yes, we could do trade because it has always been that way. We have gold. We have always had gold. We had all these things as well that was stripped from us as well. What you're doing is the same thing that the colonizers are doing. Putting all in original indigenous people of the Americas, calling them Africans. You feel me? And there will never be unity until we respect each other as who we are. And that's all I got to say. So once again, this is not an attack. This is not to put you down or anybody down. I don't talk about, Africans, don't have this and they don't have, I don't do none of that. No, my goal once again is to restore my people. That's it. It is really that simple. And I'll leave it as that. All right. Peace.